What's going on, guys? Jeff's Reeftank here. Another update on my 300-gallon office tank. So this update is going to cover some new additions in the tank. I had some fish in quarantine and they're out of quarantine now, and you can see one of them just swam into the view. I have an Achilles tang, and fish is like 3-4 weeks in this tank now. And here is another one, a powder blue. So they're both in. I popped them in, like I said, roughly a month ago, and tried to add them at the same time. I got them from actually an online fish retailer here, wholesaler, but they allowed me to come in and pick them up in person in Mount Vernon, New York. So they seem to be pretty healthy specimens, and they're doing pretty good. I did notice some signs of ick though. So initially it was very light, and then it went away, and I was actually away for a week, and the tank said it was only feeding the tank once a day. So I'm back now, and I'm giving them some nori, try to see if we can get some more nutrients in their diet, and yeah, so see if they can come along. But overall they seem to be hanging in pretty good. Initially when I put them in, there was some fussing. Both the yellow tangs went after the powder blue and the Achilles, but after a couple hours that subsided, and pretty much now it's the Achilles and the powder blue that go at each other every once in a while. Seems like the Achilles is more of a dominant fish compared to the powder blue, but they're both holding their own with the other tank mates, and fingers are crossed and seeing how it's going to work out, you know. So far so good. Besides, like I said, it's ick, but it's not anything that really has disrupted the tank in a way where I see fish that are sick or anything like that, or really looking like they're in trouble. So I'm hoping the additional feeding will help everything out, and we'll see how it goes. But as you can tell, everybody's pretty busy doing their jobs in the tank, as far as you know, the tangs are taking care of any algae that may show up. But yeah, other than that, nasal tang is a pretty new addition as well. This guy is nice and big, healthy. Hippo, this is the king of the tank. This guy, he definitely rules the 300. And he's basically a pig. That's why they call him Hippo Tang. You can see his gut right now is exploding. So he does not stop eating until all of the food is gone. So, but he's healthy. That's number one. So other than that, I just saw my last update. I did add some new corals. So I placed them on rubber rock or small pieces of rock that I had sitting around. So basically I wanted to see when they started crusting what type of growth pattern they're going to have and how they're going to expand. And once I see how that's moving, I'll be able to place them permanently or semi-permanently in an area. Basically taking the rock and gluing it to a larger rock. And if I have to move them, I want each one to have a decent sized base on it. So it will be able to remove later on when become larger colonies. So everything looks healthy coral wise, besides this one coral back here seems to be STNing. You can see it right in the back there. I'm not sure why. All my levels are pretty good. Alk right now is 8.7. Calcium is 375, which is a little low. But something I may be buffering up pretty soon. And as far as the mag has been around 1600 for the last 4 months. So that's a little high, but I don't think it's of major concern. So pretty much just let it go back down on its own, because actually what happened was I had a test kit, the Red Sea test kit that I was using, and it was reading 1,000. So I tested it a couple of times and I started buffering it back up, and something told me to go ahead and get another test kit. So when I got the new one, I realized that it was much higher than I thought. So is around 1640, 1650. So it's still hanging around that 1600 range right now, but I don't see any adverse effects on the tank. So I think mag is one of those parameters that it's not real detrimental if it's higher than normal, based on my experience so far. So I'll swing you guys around to the other side. One thing I did notice as well is when I started feeding a little more, the additional nutrients definitely helps with the coloration of the corals. So this guy here has been brown for the last 7 months, and it's finally coming around. It's a green coral, obviously with blue tips. So and the growth has been pretty impressive. Starting to explode. Just that one branch has like 20 tips on it, so it's looking good. You know, I have some other new corals here. This guy here, it's been brown as well, but it's starting to come back to its natural color, which is a blue. So I'm looking forward to that coloring up. It's another guy here. It's been brown for since I got it and put it in the tank. But you see the green is starting to show. So everything is starting to color up a lot better than they were before. This digitata was just a frag when I got it, and it's turning into a real monster. Beautiful coloration, coral extension, polyp extension is nice, and it's growing fast. So it's happy in my tank, which is a good thing. Yep, so more Montes down here, bird's nest, stylos, another showpiece tank, coral, getting big as well. And yeah, other than that, we're seeing growth, which is a good thing. There's definitely a lot more coralline algae. I don't know if you guys can see, but this branch right here is starting to get covered with purple coralline. Down here as well, you can see this big rock starting to get covered with coralline as well. So pretty much good signs that the tank is leveling out and stabilizing. And ever since I got rid of that hair algae, things are going better. There's another colony here that is around 2 inches in diameter, but it's around 8 now. When I got it, it was green, so it's starting to come into its own again and hopefully color up. And got a blue guy here as well. So let me know how this footage looks as well. Actually took the gel filter off that I have on the app that I use for my iPhone, and wondering how everything is coming out. But other than that, I did go to the New England Frag swap, so I'm going to show you guys some of the frags that I picked up from there. I think this really needs a gel filter, but let's see what happens. A little hard to tell, they're a little small, but that's hands down the best frag swap that I have been to yet, and this is my 3rd frag swap. So everything that we had in New York and New Jersey, Palooza and everything, had nothing on New England's frag swap. I mean, the vendors that were out there, the type of corals that they had, the selection, just the sheer number of vendors that were there was very impressive. So I was able to find some pretty nice pieces that you really can't find online, and if you do find them online, they're nowhere close to the size of, see that colony there as well, that frag basically. But the amount of branches that's on that thing is nothing that you would get online. You know, they give you a little 1/2-inch nub, and you're lucky if it starts to branch out 6 or 8 months later. But some of these guys are off to a good start, so I'm really happy as far as the corals that I was able to pick up. You can see the polyp extension and everything. It's really looking nice. So yeah, so that's pretty much the update for this month, and keep you guys posted on the growth. And more than likely, depending on how everything goes, I'm going to keep these in the frag tank for another month or so, just to make sure I don't see any growth or any pests or any eggs that are hatching. And once everything is clear, I'll move them over to the main. So, all right. So, thank you guys for following along, and hope everything's good with your reef tanks. And looking forward to giving you another update for April. Take it easy.